Give me about 15 minutes and I'm going to teach you how to use product design skills in your next PM interview. This is especially useful if you are someone that is transitioning from a non-product management job into a product management career, or even if you're an experienced PM looking to get into your favorite tech company as a senior PM or a principal level PM or even a director level PM. Now, I've been a product and technology entrepreneur. I worked at some of the leading companies like Microsoft, ServiceNow. I've been a two-time entrepreneur. I worked as head of product, VP of product, senior director of product, and throughout my career, I've hired and groomed multiple product managers, as well as transitioned non-product management professionals into product management. Now, in this video, you're going to get a lot of useful things from me. Number one, why product design skills are important and why tech companies favor product design skills as a key ingredient for hiring. That's key. Number two, really, how to give or how to use a product design framework in your interview and also on your job. So stay tuned, and if you have any questions, leave your questions in the comments. See you on the other side. As product managers, the most important thing that you bring to the table is creating value for your customers and your business. Most product managers think product design is just a cheap hallway ticket to getting into a product management job, their dream product management job. I can assure you, it really is not. Product design is really how you earn your keep and build your reputation as a product manager. Product managers are inherently strong, opinionated people. If you want your opinions to be taken seriously, you need to demonstrate that you have sufficient skin in your game, aka product design. Let me give you two real world examples. Imagine a scale exists. The scale measures product success in terms of business outcomes. Business outcomes in the form of revenue, profitability, recurring revenue, and so on. Now, these two examples that I'm going to talk about are classic cases of how product design can go or can take an idea from a valuable, most desirable idea to a junk pile, one case. The other case becoming internet's tech darling. Okay. Now, company A, first example, raised close to $1.75 billion, hired some of Hollywood's top talent, made a bet on the fact that there is a huge demand for short form videos during regular commute. Okay. Company B pivoted from a struggling gaming company into a real time communication software company, which led to eventually a $27.7 billion acquisition. Company A, you never heard about it. Company B, that's a big one. Company B, Slack. Company A, Quibi. This is the company that actually was around for a little while, betted on short form shorts for commuters. Company A did not survive. Company B is what we use today, the Slack. Now, what is the difference between these two companies? Is it the talent? Is it the funding? No. Both the companies had good amount of talent, good amount of funding. The difference really is in the form of thinking, your thought process, product design. Having a clear sense of demand, what customers actually want, and building that. That's what made the difference. And that's really what product design is all about. Knowing what your customers want, being the champion of customers, and representing that through actions, giving them or building value towards that state. Now we got the business outcomes slash benefits out of a good product design, or what separates a good from a mediocre product design. Let's just get into one other crucial piece of information before we go into the actual product design framework. Now, I promise you I'm going to share the product design framework, but I just want to pause here for a second. I want to make sure you have all the information you need before we get into that piece. Now, in the introduction, I mentioned that product managers use product design. It's a critical skill that is being used and they use it to earn their keep, literally build their reputation. Now, to substantiate that further, I am going to talk about four different areas how product design as a valuable trait is going to help you solidify your career. Number one, product design is at the foundation of everything that you do in your product management career. That roadmap you build, product strategy, roadmap decisions, prioritizations, all of them require a clear thought process in terms of who your customer is. It starts with the customer. What kind of problems do they have? Do those problems have value in solving them? Okay. Problem first, solution next. Okay. Problem, design, solution. You get that? So, product design is the foundation of everything else. Keep that in mind. Number two, it separates mid level from seniors in interviews. Remember, we talked about product design as a useful tool not only on your job, but it's also a hallway ticket that hiring managers use. This is really how you get evaluated. And if you're in a cream of product crop of product managers that are doing the same craft, think about what is going to be your differentiator. Good product design. So interviewers during the panel discussion or whether you're giving a written summary or having that crucial round with the hiring manager, they're really recording how you substantiate your product design skills. It's not about what you did in your prior projects. It's about can you deliver in real time? Can you produce using sufficient evidence in real time that you are able to do that job, that you are able to advocate for the customer, that you can peel the layers of the onion and say, okay, here are the top three customers that I'm going to do. Okay, so this skill, valuable skill, this is really what gives you that edge over other PMs. Number three, this is very crucial, right? It really protects the engineering resources from building the wrong thing. We talked about the company A, company B, how company A literally went bankrupt, right? That's a problem with poor product design skills. As product managers, a crucial skill, really, a mandatory skill is being able to advocate the right kind of roadmap, the right kind of business value. You come up with the right set of investment theses that drives the engineering forward with producing great products. Okay. And finally, it builds credibility with every stakeholder. Product management, or in other words, product building, is a team sport. You don't win it by going alone. You work with a team. That roadmap that you build, in order to get that sold, you need to align your stakeholders with it. You need to take your engineering team along with you. You need to sit in the customer calls and you need to align your go to market team, customer success operations, if there are any, towards your vision. So, alignment is key. How are you going to do it? Personal skills is one thing, but more than that, more than your personal skills, your diplomacy, your tact, the winning factor really is, excuse me, the product design. Product management interviews can be tricky. The reason I say it is tricky is because you are probably given a vague problem, an abstract problem, and you're required to present a rather convincing, even if not convincing, a well structured, thought out response. And by that, I mean the expectation really is you go in a sequential fashion. You go do a top down, you don't do a bottom up, or you don't do a zigzag method. That's where the design framework helps. So, starting with D, let's go down the list one by one. Define the context. Context in this case really is for the given problem. A problem could be design X for this particular product, or we recently did a product launch. We are seeing some issues. What are your thoughts about it? That's a valid question too. Not every question comes like, hey, design a product, but it may be masking itself as sort of a diagnostic question too. So define context. What am I trying to solve here? What's the business outcome? Are we trying to solve for acquisition, revenue problem, or is it a retention problem? Okay. How do you tie it to the company's mission and vision, etc.? Okay, that's defining the context, number one. Number two, exploring the user. For the given problem, name at least one user. Spend good amount of time coming up with users. I guarantee you, if you don't have the right set of users, your product design and your answers are definitely going to be a big failure. Without knowing who the users are, you cannot define the solution. Okay. For each user, I always advocate at least come up with 2 or 3 different users. And when you're coming up with users, do not censor them. Think about the users in a free form. Okay, you can always edit them later, but at least try to jot out, throw a few things on the whiteboard, and then edit them if you will. Okay, so that is probably a better way in terms of brainstorming. Okay, so you're not restricting yourself. The key is to keep yourself wandering for ideas. So once you have 2 or 3 users, then for each user, list the pain points. Okay, chances are chances are you're already familiar with the company and the company is going to drill you into products that they're using. So you should, even before you attend the interview, you have a reasonably good understanding of who the product is, who the customers are, competition, and all of that. So you should be able to come up with pain points. Okay. Now, if you don't, if you're asked a totally abstract question, and this is really where things can go a little bit haywire, and that's where product design mock-up interviews and product design practice will help you. So once you're done with the pain points, start ideating them. Okay. Now, here's what I would say. At each point, right? Here's a tip that I would give you. At each gate, if you will, exploring a user is a gate. Think about these as different gates as you go to the finish line. Exploring the user, surfacing pain points, ideating solutions. The key really is, as you go through this, talk to the interviewer, talk to the hiring manager about how you prioritize it. Okay. Hey, I have 3 users. I mean, we don't want to go out building a solution for all 3 users at the same time. We want to pick out this user group number 1. And the reason I say user group number 1 is because it aligns with your core business and it is something that I believe can be easily monetized. And if the hiring manager pushes back, then you're able to, well, the good thing in doing it is you come across as you have thought about the pros and cons. And if the hiring manager does a pushback, you can even give a very substantive reason as well. Pain points 2. For the user group 1, I have 3 different pain points. Pain point 1, 2, 3. And then if you're asked to prioritize, which I always do this, I always advocate mentally have some kind of prioritization once you write them down. Okay? Because chances are, let's just face it, you're not building a product forever. You have a fixed amount of time, your runway is short, you have a limited amount of resources, and you will be required to deliver something in the next quarter or so. So pain points, restrict them, find a way to scope them down. For each pain point, without a pain point, you don't know what the solution is. So these 3 things: exploring the user, surfacing pain points, and solutions for pain points are the key. Okay. Now, gating the scope. This is really where things come into play from a go-to-market point of view. Okay, you can't build forever. So you have to restrict the scope. You have to put some kind of a box into your thought process, into the actual solution. And that's really where you try and come up with some kind of a scoping matrix, use some kind of prioritization framework. Typically, I suggest you use Moscow, must have, should have, could have, etc. because that's easier to justify and verbalize in a short time span rather than going into something like a RICE scoring framework, which can take a lot of time where you're doing mathematical and all of that. Finally, N, which is navigating to success. So the last gate is really where you can stand out. This is what separates good PM from an average PM, a great PM from an average PM. You don't simply want to deliver something. You want to think about delivery with the appropriate success metrics. Okay, delivery is one thing, but how are you going to measure it? Okay, so to put things into context, when you walk into your interview and you are asked a question, design X for Y, okay, you start with the context, which is the outcome, the goal, and then you go down one level. Who are the possible users? Who can they be, right? Name one or two, right? Max three. Don't go beyond three. And at no point, don't be restrictive at this stage. Come up with users, and then you can always trim them down later. For each user, highlight the pain points, and then solutions, and then bridge that, define a narrow scope around what you think is important. And this is really where you may get pushback. And this is why using some kind of a prioritization framework may be very helpful. You can use something like, this is what I think is very important because this feature is the primary problem a customer, a user is going to run into, right? And especially when we're running an MVP, we want to build an MVP for the most important problem. We want to validate our ideas quickly, right? Fail fast. And finally, this is how I'm going to deliver, and here are the KPIs for that. Okay? Now, this brings us to the end of the design framework. I know you are probably going to have a lot of questions. I'm going to stop right here, and I'll be doing possibly one or two more videos as part of this series where I can probably walk you through a real PM mock interview session using this framework. And I can also go through tips and tricks. That depends on the kind of response that I get from the community. So if you're watching this video and if you need more information like this deck or other questions that you may have, feel free to comment on the video, and I'm happy to look at it and I will definitely respond back. Okay. So if you watched this far, thank you very much. And if you have any questions, please let me know. And if you're interested in mock interviews, I'm always happy to help.